Boom! Let's knit a thing. Oh, hi. Once you go sheep, you never go cheap. Oh, hi. I'm Shannon, and this is episode 8 of SOXCETERA. You can find me on Rav as shannonfisher, and you can find me on Instagram as shannonmariah. I'm going to be paying closer attention to my show notes today because last time I did not, and I missed a bunch of things that I wanted to talk about. Join me on the SOXCETERA Rav group. There's lots of great conversation happening. There's many, many wonderful people introducing themselves. We're growing a tiny bit every day, and it's been really fun to grow that group and start to get to know some of you and recognize your avatars and just interact there. So come and join us. I have an Ask Me Anything thread. I think I have a few questions there that I will hopefully answer today. So right off the hop, let's talk about the very first SOXCETERA KAL, and that is the SOXCETERA KAL is our hashtag if you'd like to share your works in progress on Instagram, and we can all keep up with each other's fun attempts at color work. I will be doing the passerine hat, and maybe I'll talk about that a little bit more in my works in progress. I haven't cast on yet, but I'll show you the yarn that I'm going to be using. So one thing I forgot to say last time, but hopefully there's still time to do this, is that if there are any makers out there who would get joy out of donating a prize, then that would be wonderful, and you could get in touch with me. I will, in our prize pack so far, we have a Notions bag by Split Yarn that I will be including. Hey, look at those little robots. And then my friend Aoife is donating a beautiful skein of yarn that I can't remember what it is, but I'll put it here and maybe insert a little photo. I have enough for 2, 3, maybe 4 mini skeins to include now, and then some other things that aren't completely arranged yet, so I'll be letting you know about those as they happen. We already have a chatter thread for the KAL. I'm going to be opening up a finished objects thread that will be no chatter today or tomorrow, and that will close on April 6th. I will lock that, and then that's where for the show that week, I will use a random number generator to choose the winner and announce it on SOXCETERA, which will be by then episode, I'm not even totally sure, bigger than number 8. So that's exciting. So cast on today, color work. And some people are freaking out a little bit about it. So I just want you to know that it can be crochet. It doesn't have to be complicated. The whole thing doesn't have to be in color work. It could just be a tiny section of color work. Whatever makes you happy, whatever you're comfortable with, wherever your skill level is at, that is perfectly fine. I'm not a stickler, I'm a big softie, so if you want to participate in this, we'll find a way to make it happen. A couple of, I don't want to say housekeeping because I feel like that's sexist. A couple of, I don't know, announcements maybe. So the first one is to actually both of them are for podcasters. Attention podcasters! the first one is just to say, if you are doing a KAL and you need a prize, I'm putting it out there that I would be willing, if you get in touch with me, willing and happy to include a very amateur, one-of-a-kind shannonfisher watercolor original in your prize pack. If you follow me on Instagram, you can see that I've created my own hashtag for some of my watercolor drawings, and they're very rough, but I think they're lots of fun. So I guess I want to put it out there that if you would like to have this in your prize pack, I am offering that to you, but I don't want to contact you individually in case it's not something that you're interested in and you feel like you need to find a way to let me down gently. I just don't want to have that awkwardness. So take a look at my Instagram feed, Shannon Mariah, and if it seems like something that you're interested in, mostly what I've done so far is portraits of people, but I could do some fun yarn inspired, I don't know, some Fair Isle socks or a ball of yarn or anything. I could, depending on who your winner is, I could go through their Instagram feed and see if there's a picture that inspires me and try to recreate that. So yeah, just putting that out there. Get in touch with me if that's something that you're interested in. And if it's not, totally cool. I get it. And I take a drink of my chocolate water, my SodaStream water with some chocolate bitters in it. The second thing I'd like to talk about is actually for both podcasters and viewers. So a couple episodes ago, I can't tell you exactly what episode it was, but I did that fun, silly, I had that conversation with my friend who was exclusively a acrylic knitter, and then we were taking her to the yarn store and we were going to show her all the beautiful animal fiber options. One viewer reached out to let me know that the way I framed that whole conversation was offensive to her as an acrylic knitter. I didn't respond on YouTube, but then she continued the conversation on Facebook. And she was angry and trash talking me a little bit, and her friends were joining in the fun of that. So at first I was going to just ignore it, but then I thought, is there something of value in there between the you know, sort of the hurt and anger that I need to pay attention to and do some reflecting on? And I thought, you know, there is. She made a point that it wasn't just me, it's a lot of podcasters who, when they mention acrylic, they don't do it in the most kind of ways. They sort of talk down about it. And I thought, you know, if you're knitting exclusively with acrylic yarn, then yeah, that probably feels really crummy, and it feels like a bit of a slight every time it happens, and you probably just try to brush it off because you're trying to tell yourself, oh, they seem like nice people, and I'm sure if they, you know, I mentioned I only knit with acrylic, you know, they would feel crummy that they made me feel crummy. So I thought I would just challenge myself and put out a challenge to other podcasters to maybe remember that you just don't know who's listening, you don't know their situation, you don't know, you know, knitting with acrylic could bring them a lot of joy. Knitting with acrylic could be what they can afford, and there is nothing wrong with knitting with acrylic because it means that you're part of the fiber community, and I think any shape or form that takes is amazing and wonderful, and you should be welcome, feel welcomed, and be welcomed, and not feel like you need to hide what you're doing or be ashamed of it. So I just wanted to apologize if there's anyone else out there who was listening who felt crummy about that. and maybe tried to ignore it, or, you know, had a little vent to a friend or whatever. I will do better. I will do better. I have nothing against acrylic, and I don't want to project that I do. And then the second part of that is a challenge to viewers, that to just remember that maybe just because you can't see us or touch us or feel us or have a conversation with us, it might be hard to remember sometimes that we're humans just like you, and we have feelings just like you, and to just, if you're going to call us out on something, because we're all going to make mistakes. We just are. And I think it's definitely important that we keep each other accountable. And I am appreciative that that woman spoke to me about it. I don't love how she did it, but I have been unkind when I've been hurt and angry, so I can appreciate that that's what was happening. But just to remember that, you know, we hurt just like everybody else. So maybe just be thoughtful of that when you call us on our crap. Okay, finished objects. This is the second time I have done this episode recording, because we're using a new camera and I forgot to turn the microphone on. And normally I would just edit whatever out, but Steve said my podcasts are getting a little choppy with all of the editing I do, and he didn't feel super relaxed watching it, so I'm going to try to do less editing. Anyways, that was a complete side note just to let you know that I'm still at the section that I talked about when I realized that the microphone wasn't on. And I had been babbling on for a long time. So my shawl is done. Off the needles, no tricks this time. And I'm so super duper happy with it. I think you saw it on me last time, but you get the gist. And I really like it. I'm not 100% sure if I'm going to keep it or not yet. I have a friend who I think might look lovely in it as well. And I have some other shawl projects that I want to do, and I don't know, I just don't know how many shawls I'll wear or how many I need. But yeah, so this is it. It was a fun knit. It took me longer than I wanted it to, but I was not exclusively knitting this for quite a while. So once I focused on it, I got it done pretty quickly. I have one more finished object to show you. The lollipop holder. Come on. You can do it. Too close? There you go. So this was supposed to be a earphones holder. Do you have any earphones nearby? No, I don't. But it's way too tiny. Steph Stryker, who I follow on, that's her Instagram name. I'm not totally sure what her name is. But she had one of these in her Instagram feed, and I thought it was so super adorable. And once I cast off my shawl, I just wanted something, I didn't feel like casting on something new and big. So I thought, oh, I'll just whip up a little one of those earphone holders. And so I screen capped her finished object, and I made it big, and I tried to count the stitches and figure out what she did. Clearly I misjudged that. And then she let me know that there's an actual pattern on Rav if you just punch in earphones. So that happened. So I feel like I need to send this to someone with a lollipop inside. I couldn't believe how bummed out this made me though. I got to the end and I was like, there is no way that is gonna fit any earphone on the planet, set of earphones on the planet. And I just wasted how much time on this. I couldn't have just, like I was moping around the rest of the night. I think I was tired. Maybe I needed to eat a thing, who knows. But anyways, I thought that was funny. Okay, that takes us to works in progress. Ooh, so let's talk about what I will be casting on for my passerine hat, which will be part of the colourwork KAL. So I have two options here. They're all yarns from Knit-Picks. They're all in the palette base. They're a fingering weight. 100% Peruvian Highland wool. They're all 50-gram balls. So this is my first option. I would probably use this as the main color and use this for the, oh, my stomach is, I should have eaten breakfast first, I guess. And use this for the birds. And then, oh, and those colorways are Wallaby and Mauve. And then the next two are Opal Heather and Suede. And this would be the bird color. And this would be the main color. So I think there's both fun options, and maybe I'll do them both. Who knows? You just never know. So it'll be a surprise when I cast those on, wherever the spirit leads me. My other work, I have two other works in progress. I cast on my breathing space sweater. When we were on the yarn crawl, I was saying to my friend, hi Joanna. I was saying to my friend Joanna that I wanted to make more sweaters this year, which felt like a weird thing for me to be saying. I was looking at a couple I had favorited in Ravelry, seeing if I could choose yarn for it, and she pulled one up, and it was breathing space, and I was instantly enamored. So her and I both cast on, and so we're doing our own little mini 2-person KAL. We've actually even set a date for when we're going to be done. We're going to try to have these done by the first week of May. So I just have the neck, and I'm just doing the shaping in the yoke. Look at those colors, you guys! Oh my god. So great. I love it so much. And then the contrasting color for the striping, I've already shown you this, but look at it now that it's caked up. You see that? So beautiful. And then the contrasting color is antler. And these are Mad Tosh sock, whatever her 100% merino is. So exciting. I'm so excited to be doing this. And holy cow, this is not mindless. I'm having to pay attention to every stitch I do right now. So I'm looking forward to getting to just and this is a raglan sweater, so it's knitting around, and yeah, it's gonna be fun. And I'm knitting that with US 4 3.5 millimeter 40-inch high sharps. And I am keeping this in my Knitter's Nook Creations by Yuli bag, which I love. Thanks, Yuli. My last whip I am keeping in my one-of-a-kind Diane from Gatineau, Quebec adorable sheep bag. So I could be knitting these in line. So fun. And I have cast on 2 socks. This is Scrumptiouspurl yarn, And they come in these beautiful rolly balls. And I didn't know how to knit. I mean, I didn't want to rewind them in order to make 2 different balls from them. So I had 2 of her colorways, so I just cast on both. Colors in here are so fun. Okay, so I am knitting these for the first time on my brand new carbons, 2.25 millimeter. And I don't like them. I don't like them. There's so much drag. It is super slowing me down, the drag. But then what's also slowing me down is pushing my socks over. Is that going to show? Over this joint here. It catches every time. Like I can hear it crunching the yarn. Yeah, and it's not, it doesn't go smoothly. So I feel like that's super slowing me down. So I'm not super pleased with those because these are not cheap needles. That's a bit of a bummer. Lesson learned, I guess. Did I mention that this is a new camera? So Steve's not here. He did all the research. I'm not totally sure how to set it up. So I think it's constantly trying to find my face and refocus, which is maybe a little bit annoying for you as a viewer. So sorry. I wanted to tell you some of the knit-alongs that I'm participating in. I have never in my entire life participated in a knit-along. And now I'm running one. So that's kind of funny. So there's quite a few that I'm going to submit to. And I found ones, well, I wouldn't go out looking for them, but as I heard different podcasters talking about their knit-alongs, I thought, oh, I have something for that. Oh, I have something for that. I have something I'm working on for that. So I thought that was a really fun way to do it. Just what am I already doing that I can use in your KAL? I'm going to submit my socks to the Indie Dye KAL with Stacy from Stress Knits with my yarn from Scrumptiouspurl, and that runs from February 1st to March 31st. And then I'm going to double dip into Pin Feathers and Pearls Stripy Socks KAL, which runs from March 1st to April 15th. And then my Weasley sweater, which I have not done any work on for a little while, which is, I think it's fine because I was only supposed to cast on a few days ago. I am going to submit to Katie's Harry Potter KAL from Inside Number 23, which runs from March 1st to April 30th. And then I'm going to double dip that sweater into Mina from the Knitting Expats sweater along, which goes all year. And then the last one I'm going to participate in is Kristen's Box of Socks Yarngasm podcast KAL, which I haven't entered any of these yet. Or some of them I have, some of them I haven't. So make sure you check out. Mina has amazingly, as usual, done a comprehensive list of all of the KALs that she knows about on her Rav group. So if you're looking for a KAL to participate in, go check that out because it is pretty darn amazing. I think she gives, what podcaster's doing it, what it is, what the dates are for it. So she even included the SOXCETERA KAL, the colourwork KAL. So thank you, Mina. I love that. She's so generous with her time and resources and so much thoughtfulness in that little Mina package. Acquisitions. So I don't know if you know that Sweet Georgia is local to Vancouver, but they are. And I took Steve to the airport on Tuesday, and Sweet Georgia is not far from the Vancouver airport. It is between my house and the airport. So I accidentally, my car just went it had a mind of its own. It's found its way to the Sweet Georgia warehouse, where they have an entire room, shelves and shelves, dedicated to seconds. And that means it's their yarn that they don't quite feel hits their standard. So it's discounted. Oh my goodness, there was so much of it, so much of it. It was overwhelming. So I went. I'm not going to tell you how much I spent, but I'm going to tell you that I saved $64, which is pretty freaking amazing if you ask me. I would like to put myself on a yarn freeze until Knit City. Knit City, have you heard of it? Are you coming? Please come. Especially if you're American, because oh my gosh, the savings. October 1st and 2nd here in Vancouver. Check it out. Google it. Book your ticket. I happen to know some really fun Canadian podcasters who are coming. I.e. Eric. Yeah. Maybe I should announce that before he does. But I just did. And, well, okay, I wouldn't say that he's coming for sure, but he's seriously considering it. And then I believe Jody and Tracy have confirmed that they are indeed coming. Who else? Jenny from Lone Larch says that she comes every year, so I'm assuming she'll come this year. And maybe she'll bring along the Fawn Knits, Lara, and Candace. I hope you come, from Pin, Feathers, and Pearls. So those are the ones I know of. I'm still trying to work on Chelsea and Sue. And Natasha and Meredith. Come on. Support your country. Okay. Simmer down now. So, guys, I got 9 skeins of yarn from Sweet Georgia. I just don't know if you want to sit through 9 skeins of yarn, do you? I tried to keep in mind some of the shawls and different projects that I have queued up or favorited as I bought, so I didn't just purchase willy-nilly, because when I do that, it just never works out for me. The yarn sits and makes me feel guilty, and yeah. So I will show you. Okay. So these are 2 different colorways, but I thought if I alternated them in a shawl. They are in the colorway, and these are all mostly DK and worsted weights. Well, they all are DK and worsted weights. And they're all, I think they're all 100% superwash merino. This is in Orchid, and the other one is in Azalea. So those, I think, alternating back and forth will make a really fun, I actually look pretty good in really bright pinks and whatever, bright colors. These look really, really different. I guess they are pretty different. Maybe that won't work out. We'll see. And then I got 2 skeins of the colorway Tumbled Stone. And then I got one of this natural color, which I have in a different weight as well. This is Slate. It's this beautiful gray blue. This is falling apart, but it is called Dreamboat. It's like got these real bluey purple undertones. And then, that's a different one. This is Mulberry. This is Stillwater. There we go. Pretty. It's got like creams and blues and browns and like icy blues. And then the last one, but not least, is Hush. so pretty. So, I gotta get knitting. I gotta get knitting. I love them. I love them all. They sat on the table and I just stared at them for a long time when I got home. Talking about the yarn freeze that I want to put myself on until I go to Knit City, which is in October, as I mentioned. But the problem is that Fibers West is happening this month, and I was going to go and support my friend. So maybe I'll just put some, like, boundaries around being there. Like, maybe I can spend, like, you know, $15 to $20 on fun notions or knitting accessories or something, but I truly do not need any more yarn right now. Not until I get some out of my stash. The last part of my acquisitions is yarn from my pals from Knit Night. And Tassia, who, if you know the company Sewaholic, you know Tassia. Well, you don't know her, but if you know of Sewaholic and you use her products, that's my friend Tassia. And she is lovely and one of my most favorite people. And brought me all of this goodness, plus this, which is sparkles. Oh, it's Glitterati from Sweet Georgia. Guys, check it. So this didn't fit in the bag, but she brought me all of this. These three are almost full skeins of yarn. She just said she wasn't going to use them. She knew she wasn't going to use them. I was like, what do you? She's like, no, stop. Just take them. Just please take them. So that was a fun thing to get. Thank you, Tassia. I don't think she watches, but thank you anyways. And then my friend Lara brought me this, I think this is Spud and Chloe. And then this isn't enough to go in my sock blanket, but I will find some other use for this. I think this is Koi Goo. There you go. So that's fun. So people, I just let people know that I was looking for some fingering weight yarn, and wow, have people come through. It's been overwhelming and exciting. So thanks everyone. It's getting hot. So I have some thank yous next. First of all, almost right after I posted last week's video, a viewer named Sara gifted me the Climb pattern, the Climb sock pattern by Jane Richmond on Ravelry, and just completely out of the blue, she didn't even really say what made her do it, but so fun. It's just so fun to be connecting with all of you like this. And I just want to say, I don't want anyone to feel like if you want to connect with me, it has to be in the form of a gift. Your words are gifts to me. I have gotten tons of emails, and I feel just as excited about the emails and the YouTube comments as I do about, getting a sock pattern. It all fills my heart. So don't feel like you need to spend any kind of money or anything like that to reach out to me and connect with me. You don't need to. It is super generous that Susan did this, and I love that she did this. I can't wait to knit that sock pattern. It's been on my little heart for a while. In order to pay it forward, I am going to hold a tiny little mini giveaway, and I think I'm just going to do it on YouTube. And it's going to be for my YouTube viewers. So if you leave a comment on this video and tell me about a pattern that you've been eyeballing that is up to $6 Canadian or US dollars, and I will choose someone and I will gift you that pattern. So leave a comment on this video. Tell me about a pattern that you've been eyeballing that has been in your queue for a while, but you just haven't been able to make that next step of committing to it by purchasing it. And I will choose a winner next week. So thank you so much, Susan. I love those socks, and I love that you just randomly, spontaneously decided to spread the love that way. A few people mentioned me on their podcast this past week, and I just want to say thank you. So Sue from Two Tangled Skeins, Sue and Lynn from Two Tangled Skeins, Sue mentioned me, and I don't know if I had seen their podcast before, but man, are those two funny and just so full of energy, and their friendship, sassy, fiery banter back and forth, it cracked me up completely. So I'm glad I found them. And I think they're Canadians. You're Canadians, right? So extra duper super love for you guys. And then Eric from Sticks Plus Twine gave me a really nice shout out this past week and got really personal. I just really appreciated his vulnerability and the kind things that he had to say. And I don't think there's ever too much openness about the ways that we struggle, because I think when we talk about our own struggles, I can't even tell you how many Instagram DMs, Rav, private messages, notes on YouTube I have gotten that have included the words, "It's nice to know I'm not alone." So it is a huge deal for us to talk about this stuff, because it really does help. That's my $100 word of the week. So bravo to you for also talking about it, Eric. And I think life happens everywhere, and life is messy everywhere, and it happens on a podcast, and life happens, when you're chatting with a friend, life happens when you're at work in your professional spaces. And I think there are times when it is totally cool and reasonable to get real about that and to let it all hang out and let people know that you struggle too, and you're human too, and you don't have it all together. Because I think when we think people were alone, it compacts what we're feeling and makes it heavier. So thank you, Eric. Dawn from the Wolfe Farms group gave me a shout out. I think that's the name of her podcast, Wolfe Farms Group. She goes by Knit-Nix Kitty? I can't remember. I think she does it with her husband, and she couldn't stop giggling, and she was making me laugh. So that was a fun episode to watch, and thank you for the shout out, Dawn. I appreciate that. And then Sara from The Knitting Type, which is a brand new podcast, which is the start of my pod love. So a thank you to Sara for mentioning me, and also a recommendation to go and watch her, because she just did episode 1 and she was lovely, and just really down to earth and quirky, and I don't know. I really enjoyed her first episode. And she's from somewhere USA. And then the second one is also a brand new, my pod love goes out to a second one who's also brand new, is Knit-Nix with Carla. And I believe she's Canadian. Oh yeah, she's in Calgary. So go and watch them, and go and leave a comment on their videos, and tell them I sent you and give them some love and encouragement, because it is so intimidating to do that first video and feel like, am I just gonna sit out in this field alone? I have plunked myself here amongst all of these other people. Is anyone gonna care? So go tell them I sent you and just leave a comment on their video full of love and support. Yeah, check those two out. So hi, Carla and Sara. You're doing great. This takes us to my 2 shan things. So shan thing number 1 is that I have my last improv class this Tuesday, and then on the following day, we have a show. We have a show. We're not the full show. I think the intro 1 class has, I don't know, maybe half an hour, 45 minutes. I'm hoping it's only 15 minutes of the, whatever the set is. And then I think intro 2's doing some, and then some more skilled people. But oh man, I am like, I can't even believe how terrified I am to go to that. I feel like normally it might be something that's right up my alley, like, yes, give me the spotlight, put me on stage, I can do this. But the more I've been on stage in class, the more I've been like, this is really hard. Just plunking yourself on a stage completely spontaneously with some other people, it is hard to come up with things to say, do with your body, not look like you're just a complete blob on stage. There was this one scene we did last Tuesday where there was 6 of us on stage, and I took the role of the boss. We were like some landscaping company, and so I took the role of the boss, and I came in and I was doing some stuff, and then the few other people started talking, and suddenly I was like, I don't know what to do or say. So I like slowly backed off the stage, and I stayed there for a while the scene continued, and then one of my classmates said, and I would really like to know why our boss just left us high and dry. Where did she go? So then I was like, okay, I guess I need to find a reason to come back. So I was like, sorry guys, just got a call. It was Joey. And you know what that means. Nobody knew what that meant. I didn't even know what that meant. And so just the whole time I'm thinking, we are going to have to do this in front of an audience. We are going to have to do this in front of an audience. And I do not feel ready. Ryan keeps assuring us that we are ready for an audience. I think he's a big fat liar. My check-in this week, because he asks us to check in every week at the beginning of class. And I said, well, I sung on my podcast. And again, he says, what's your podcast? And again, I said, never telling. Intro 2 is starting at the end of the month. So this is our last class on Tuesday, and then the second intro class is starting at the end of the month, and I'm trying to decide if I want to take it. I think about 8 of my classmates are going to go on and take it, and I just don't know. I told Steve that last night, and he said, well, have you enjoyed it? And I said, I've loved it. It's been so fun. And he said, then why wouldn't you take intro 2? And I said, well, because it's been pretty tough to get myself out of the house, actually, convincing myself to get ready and go to class. It's felt really tough every week. And Steve said, that sounds like the perfect reason to make yourself do it. Maybe I'll wait until after the show and see how I feel. And shan thing number 2. I have noticed that some of you have been checking out my blog, and I know because you're either leaving comments or you're liking my Truthfully page, fan page on Facebook. Well, thank you, first of all, for doing that. And secondly, when I first started writing about leaving religion and becoming an atheist, I was pretty obnoxious about it. So some of that stuff that's up on my blog right now is pretty obnoxious. And I feel like I've gotten to a place that is a lot more gentle and calm and less in your face. Just be mindful of that. I should probably take some of that stuff down, or at least, at the very least, rewrite it to reflect more of where I'm at. But I guess a blog is sort of a bit of a document of your life too, and I guess it's sort of interesting to read back and see where I was at. But anyways, I just know that some people will be reading that and be like, whoa, she is a jerk. And I don't know, I think I might have been a bit of a jerk, but I was also, it was a hard one place for me to get to. I was part of the church for a long time, and I super duper struggled with leaving the church and leaving religion, and it was not an easy move for me, and it wasn't a spontaneous move. I put so much thought into it. So when I finally broke the ties, I was like, I need to talk about this. One last thing. So the last thing I want to talk about is a book that I love, and it is called Meet You There, and it is by Jessica Wallace. Full disclosure, Jessica is my friend whom I adore, but I loved it. Man, did I love that book. I just went to look for my copy and I don't have it not because I got a text message, but because I lent it out because I love it so much and I want everyone to read it. So I just wanted to let you know about it. It's fiction, it's a novel, it's really great. If you go on to GoodReads, I think I'm shannonfisher on GoodReads, or am I Shannon Mariah? I'll put it down here. You can find me and you can find my review of that book, and you can check out her book. Yes. So go and read Meet You There. Get it at your library. Go buy your copy. Borrow mine when I get it back. Whatever. But do read it. It's fantastic. It's pretty fun to watch your friends have success like publication. Congrats, Jessica, and I love you, and I'm so proud of you. And she is like the greatest cheerleader too. Everything I write, she's like finding ways to make it better, or she's like, oh, this publication takes that kind of stuff. You should submit it there. Like she's the most amazing writer friend to have, because her pom-poms are big. They are big and loud and full of love, and support. That's the show for this week. I hope you enjoyed it. I will try to work out the focus issues for next week. And yeah, so big love and squishy hugs.